Sound is okay? We can go ahead and get started. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Good evening. Before I call the meeting to order, I would like to take this opportunity for the month of, as we conclude the month of October, to do a land acknowledgement. Today, I'd like to acknowledge that as the mayor of the city of Jonesboro, that we gather on the traditional lands of the Creek Nation, whose ancestors lived and hunted and thrived in this region for generations before forced removal. We recognize the enduring connection of these native people to this land and honor their legacy. I would hope that we as a community commit to learning about and respecting the history of the indigenous people of this territory. So much so that I would like to draw everybody's attention to the historic site of the Stately Oaks, which is in Jonesboro, city of Jonesboro, which features a recreated Native American village to help educate visitors and residents about the lifestyle and the history of the Creek Indians in the area. Thank you so much. At this time, I call to order the City Council regular meeting for October 14th at 6 p.m. to order.
Roll call, Mayor Danya L. Sarter.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Messick.
Present.
Councilmember Don Dixon.
Present.
Councilmember Powell.
Here.
Councilmember Miller.
Present.
Councilmember Lester.
Here.
And Councilmember Alfred Dixon.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we'll have invocation by Pastor Mel Blackaby, Senior Pastor of the First Baptist Church of Jonesboro.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hi, Pastor Blackaby.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. If you'd all join with me in a word of prayer, let me pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. Each and every day is a gift from you, and we don't want to take that for granted. May we understand your mercy and grace. We don't want to nullify that by just living for ourselves. We want to live for you and for the betterment of others. Father, your word says that the two great commandments are to love you and to love our neighbor. And everything hangs on those two commandments. So, Father, we acknowledge your presence here and our love for you. And we also acknowledge our community and our love for this town of Jonesboro. And we pray for your wisdom. We pray for your guidance. We pray for our elected leaders who guide us and lead us in this day in which we live. We need you, as we always have. And so we ask your Spirit to guide this meeting. And we ask in the precious name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. And Pastor Blackaby, if you would stay for presentations so that we can honor you all in remembrance of your 200th anniversary. At this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, there is an agenda in front of us. Are there any additions or deletions or edits to this agenda?
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about the agenda. We have 2 executive sessions listed on the agenda. Is that on purpose or is that an error?
No, it's on purpose. I definitely know we need one at the beginning because it may impact an item on there later, and so we may or may not need the one at the end.
Okay, I just needed clarity on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other additions?
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to add under presentations, JYCG presentation.
Okay, so could that go after Juneteenth celebration and July 3rd?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. If there's no other additions, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as printed with one addition up under presentations from JYCG. Sorry.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Council, at this time, I promise we shouldn't be in there long. I will entertain a motion to go into executive session briefly for the
So-
purposes of personnel matters.
So made.
Was it appropriately second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now in executive session.
So made.
Second.
Can I get a second?
We're waiting on Councilmember Dixon to get back.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? We're now back in regular session. Thank you all so much for this. At this time, let's move through our agenda. We have a few presentations. Mayor Pro Tem will provide those on my behalf. The first one is a proclamation regarding the 150th anniversary of Andrew Chapel United Methodist Church. Are they still with us? If not, I'll just attend church service and present it. Okay, thank you so much. After that, we'll have a proclamation regarding the 200th anniversary of the First Baptist Church of Jonesboro. Mayor Pro Tem, are you going to present them, or would you like me to read them? Did you decide to read them?
Recording in progress.
You can certainly read them, Mayor, and I'll present.
Okay, perfect. There's a proclamation honoring the 150th anniversary of Andrews Chapel United Methodist Church, which is located in right outside of downtown Jonesboro, whereas Andrews Chapel Methodist United Church is commemorating its 150th church anniversary on November 2nd. Communities, conferences, delegates, and congregations from all over were gathered to help celebrate this momentous occasion. And whereas in 1875, God gave a group of dynamic and fearless trailblazers a calling to plant a new church under the brush arbor located on Spring Street in the city of Jonesboro, so that the newly emancipated persons of color could freely worship. This new church was led by Reverend Frank Calhoun. And whereas later a personage was built on Waterston Street and first dated cornerstone was 1896, references a small wood frame church known as Andrews Chapel Methodist Episcopal Church. It was built adjacent to it and was subsequently replaced in 1920 by a larger church and served the congregation for 52 years. And whereas with every new pastor that came to Andrews Chapel, God granted them the vision to build upon the legacy that was passed on to them and to grow the church. Whereas the city of Jonesboro and Clayton County, Georgia have recognized members of Andrews Chapel through the naming of schools, streets, bridges in their honor, thus cementing their presence in this area. Whereas under the divine leadership of the Holy Spirit and the church's current leader, Reverend Dr. Donald K. Reed Sr., who was installed as pastor in 2016, the church has nimbly survived a global pandemic, which led us further into a digital age and ushered in several aspects of virtual worship, nurture, and outreach ministries. And whereas Andrews Chapel has undergone many transformations over the past 150 years, their mission today is still clear. Pass the torch by faith to a new generation of believers in the city of Jonesboro and beyond. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Danielle Sarton, Mayor of the city of Jonesboro, Georgia, and the City Council do hereby honor Andrews Chapel United Methodist Church on its 105th anniversary. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Jonesboro to be affixed. It's dated the second day of November 25th, when they'll actually have their ceremony. I invite the community as well as the council to come join them. Thank you so much, Andrews Chapel, for being such a hallmark of our community, and we appreciate you. I think Dr. Connie Wood is there, Chairperson Deirdre Rain, as well as other members of the church. We thank you so much. Chief, I think I'm on mute because I'm not hearing anything in the room. Are y'all on mute out there? Okay, now I can hear you. Okay, thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. At this time, I believe from the First Baptist Church, I believe Pastor Mel Blackaby will be accepting the proclamation on behalf of the First Baptist Church of Jonesboro. I actually got a chance to attend their worship service, and as always, it was phenomenal. A proclamation to recognize the 200th anniversary of the First Baptist Church of Jonesboro. Whereas the First Baptist Church of Jonesboro, originally established as Flint River Baptist Church on January 25th, 1825, has faithfully served the spiritual and communal needs of Jonesboro, Georgia for 2 centuries. And whereas the church has stood as a beacon of faith, hope, and love, guiding generations through worship, discipleship, and fellowship, and has remained steadfast in the mission to glorify God by sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. And whereas the First Baptist Church of Jonesboro has grown in strength and purpose under the leadership and many devoted pastors and continues to thrive under the spiritual guidance of Dr. Mel Blackaby, who has served faithfully as senior pastor since July 2008. Whereas the 200th anniversary of the First Baptist Church of Jonesboro is of a momentous occasion to reflect upon its rich history, celebrate its enduring impact, and look forward with faith and anticipation to the future. Now, therefore, I do, Dr. Danielle Sarter, Mayor of the City of Jonesboro, and the City Council do hereby honor and celebrate the 200th anniversary of the First Baptist Church of Jonesboro, recognizing its profound contribution to the spiritual and cultural life of Jonesboro and beyond, and extend heartfelt congratulations to its congregation, leadership, community partners. May the legacy of First Baptist Church continue to shine brightly for generations to come. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Jonesboro to be affixed this 21st day of September, which is actually when you all had the service. Thank you, Pastor Blackerby, and I personally want to thank you so much for the work you do in the city and for my family. Thank you. My godson did his first mission trip to First Baptist Church of Jonesboro last week and had a phenomenal time, Pastor Blackerby. All right, thank you so very much. I think the people that left regarding the white cane awareness, did they leave? If they did, I would like, they're still here? Okay, perfect, thank you. Is Mr. Ernick Ema here? Thank you so much, Mr. Ernick. We will make sure you get home safely. This one is quite dear to my heart. It's recognized through the National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want. It's a proclamation in recognition of white cane awareness in the city of Jonesboro, where the white cane, which every blind person of our city and state has the right to carry, demonstrates and symbolizes the ability to achieve a fully independent life and the capacity to work productively in competitive employment. And whereas the white cane, by allowing every blind person to move freely and safely from place to place, makes it possible for the blind to fully participate and contribute to our society and live the lives they want. And whereas every citizen should be aware that the law requires that motorists and cyclists exercise appropriate caution when approaching a blind person carrying a white cane. And whereas Georgia law also calls upon employers, both public and private, to be aware and utilize the employment skills of our blind citizens by recognizing their worth as individuals and their productive capacities. Whereas the state of Georgia, through its public agencies and with the cooperative assistance of the National Federation of the Blind of Georgia, can and should facilitate the expansion of employment opportunities for a greater acceptance of blind people in the competitive labor market. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Danielle Sarter, for the City of Jonesboro, along with our City Council, do hereby proclaim October 15th, 2025 as White Cane Awareness Day in the City of Jonesboro, Georgia, and do call upon our schools, colleges, universities to offer full opportunities for training to blind persons, upon employers and the public to utilize the available skills of competent blind persons and to open new opportunities for the blind in our rapidly changing society. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Jonesboro, Georgia to be affixed this 14th day of October 2025. We have with us today, accepting this proclamation, Mr. Ernick Ema, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Thank you so very much. Mr. Ema always comments on how our city welcomes him and makes sure that we are prepared for his visit. Mr. Ernick, would you please just give us a few brief remarks? Chief, if you would just turn the mic for him.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to be in this facility. I've attended a lot of events, such as November 23rd, when I actually sat in the park and watched the majestic Cardinals perform. I appreciate this proclamation for my fellow blind members.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate you. At this time, photos. I think we have two more video proclamations from earlier this week. Let me know when he's finished and you all. Okay. We don't have to read those. We're just gonna play them. Shelby, was that all of them here? Yes, I think that's all, Mayor Pro Tem. The rest of them are gonna be video. We can play the videos now. What's wrong?
She said one moment, Mayor. They're working on the video.
Y'all gonna have to speak louder.
They're working on the video.
Oh, come on, y'all, I thought we had them. If we don't have them real quickly, we'll just have to come back to those next week.
Mayor,
Are they not?
Mayor,
Yes?
would you like me to read the,
No, I wanted the
Disclaimer.
videos. What's going on with the videos, Zany?
Everybody, it's Mayor Sarter in the city of Jonesboro, and I'm in the heart of the city of Jonesboro at one of my favorite places, the Clayton County Behavioral Health Center. And I have all of my friends here. And today we're going to present a proclamation recognizing Down Syndrome Awareness Month. So Daniel and Shatricia said they will accept it on behalf of the entire center and everyone with Down syndrome. We appreciate all the contributions that you make to make this world more beautiful and vibrant. Thank you so much.
And that was the one for Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and the next one is for Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Hi everyone, I'm Mayor Danya Sarter representing the city of Jonesboro, and today I have the honor of giving a proclamation in honor of domestic violence awareness. Today I'm here with Mary Birchfield, the Deputy Director of Promise Place. Promise Place serves as an advocate within the community to support, educate, and shelter victims of domestic violence. Mary, I'd like to thank you for being here. Like to thank you for all that you do in the community. We know that domestic violence affects 1 in 4 women and 1 in 4 men. So today, it's with great excitement that I present to you recognizing October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It's a long proclamation, you can read it later, but I'd like to skip to the bottom where it says, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand this 14th day of October 2025. Thank you so much, Mary. And if you would just briefly tell us about your organization.
Thank you. This is a huge honor. I would like to thank the mayor and the city of Jonesboro for being good stewards of their community and supporting our mission, which is to eradicate domestic violence. As she said, statistics are staggering where that is concerned. And our organization, we do a 24/7 crisis line. We also have an emergency shelter. We do legal advocacy, and we do awareness and outreach. I think overall what we would like to see eventually is through education and awareness and just everybody learning that this is something that can happen to everybody. A lot of people don't realize that. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how little money you have, you know, the color of your skin or where you came from. This can happen to absolutely everybody, and nobody knows it's gonna happen, and it's nobody's fault, but we're here to support that. And
the city of Jonesboro is here to partner, so whatever we can do to bring awareness to this, not just in the month of October, but all year long. Can you tell them where can they, if they need help, support, how can they find you? Or is there a phone number or something?
We have a 24/7 crisis line. You can find it on our website, which is www.promiseplace.org. The crisis line number is 770-460-1604. And then, of course, we support several different counties, and we can also provide resources and things like that for people that aren't aware of the next steps. Maybe they're, you know, in a situation where they need to leave right now, or maybe, you know, they're just preparing the steps through safety planning to make an exit out of the situation safely.
Well, again, we thank Mary as well as the Promise Place for all that you do in our community. And again, awareness to domestic violence, and Jonesboro doing their part to make sure that we help bring awareness to this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
And I do, thank you. I want to clarify one error I had. It's 1 in 4 women are affected by domestic violence, and 1 in 9 men. I said 1 in 4, but I was corrected 1 in 9. Thank you all so much. At this time, if we could switch to the PowerPoint. Are we back on the PowerPoint?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Let me pull it up on mine. Thank you. I want to acknowledge Shelby for taking care of all of this. There's been a lot of questions and speculations in regard to events coming up, and I want to kind of set the record straight. This does not negate any formal audit, investigation, or CPA or anything like that, but I do feel like the staff works very hard on these events, and they work very hard in maintaining the finances at my request. The city hosted a July 3rd event. You see the total cost there was $28,428.89. That was the total cost of our June 3rd, 2025. There may be one or two expenses for under $100 that still have to come in, but that totals the total expense for our July 3rd, which was actually a great event. The kids enjoyed it, particularly the fireworks were great. It was just a great event all around. Shelby, if you would go to the next one. And council, if you all have any questions or anything, let me know. The city also funded part of the Juneteenth, and the amount there was $23,772. We have about a $50,000 event budget, and I tried really hard to kind of divide it in half, but a lot of things were a little bit cheaper for Juneteenth because it's not necessarily in much demand as July 3rd and July 4th. We did save some money, council, by agreeing to have it on July 3rd. It probably would have cost us $38,000 for upcharges on the band and the fireworks had we went to July 4th. So I thank you all for allowing us to have it on July 3rd, and also gave the opportunity for our staff to spend time with family and friends on July 4th. So those are all the expenses that the city contributed to Juneteenth, to $23,772. The next, because we did this in partnership with the Downtown Development Authority, which is how we do most of our events, such as when we used to have the St. Patrick's Day, also when we did the Kentucky Derby. So if you would go to the next one, Shelby, I'm not sure if it's already up there. So the DDA provided, we collected a total of $35,000 in sponsorships. You can see all the sponsorships that are listed above. Injury to Wellness actually gave us a check for $10,000, and we split it $5,000 to Juneteenth, and the other $5,000 went back to other events in the city. We also had about $650, in food truck amounts, and that's the amount that the food trucks pay for to be there. We're probably going to increase that because the food trucks do really, really well, but I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. You can also see when all of those funds were received in that column there. You either have the check numbers or some that were paid by credit card, and as well as that was wired, and it has the date. So all of those funds were received on those dates that are provided there, beginning in March, all the way to the last payment that was received on 6/6. You'll notice that we did not put the Board of Commissioners $6,000 on there because we have not received that, and to avoid any confusion. There is payment, and we do have promissory note, for lack of a better word, that they are committed to providing that $6,000. So there was a total of, revenue, of $35,150. Again, this is all documented, and all the dates that the money was applied to the DDA. Now, some of it had to be wired and transferred from the city funds because if you look at the second part, Injury to Wellness, Scopes, and Truist, those funds came into the city account, and on September 26th, they were all transferred from the city to the DDA. Truist could only do electronic wire, and the DDA is not set up for electronic wire. Injury to Wellness wrote a check to the city for $10,000 to allocate $5,000 of that to the DDA and to keep them from writing for Juneteenth and keep them from writing 2 checks. He just did one and we sent it. And the last one was Scopes. Before we could tell them to send it to the DDA, they just wrote the check out to the city of Jonesboro. And so rather than having to get a new check written, we transferred all of that on September 26th. Thank you so much, Shelby. If you go to the next one. The total expenses that the DDA paid was $34,166. So if you go back to the previous slide, you can see that $35,150 were raised through sponsorship, and a total of $34,166 was actually spent on behalf of the DDA, combined with what the city spent as well. So if you look at that, I wanted to make it as simple as possible. If you take the revenue from the sponsorships and the food truck and subtract the expenses, there's actually a positive balance of $984 from the Juneteenth event. Again, all of these are unaudited. We typically don't have these numbers audited, but I would welcome any CPA to come in and audit these. When we received the $6,000 from the Clayton County Board of Commissions, Commissioner Davis, and they did already approve this prior to Juneteenth. The total residual would be $6,984. Because these funds were earmarked for Juneteenth, the only appropriate manner for them to be spent out now would be for seed money for next year's event. If not, then we can return the funds back to said sponsors. We do have a letter on file from Commissioner Davis in reference to paying his sponsorship. Their fiscal year starts July 1st, so it may take, I think last year we got it in November. So I did some quick math. City expenses plus DD expenses equal the total amount of expenses for Juneteenth. So that's $23,000 roughly plus $34,000, which means that we paid a total of $57,939 collectively between the DDA partnership and the city of Jonesboro. So the Juneteenth event cost us $57,939. All righty. Thank you so very much. Shelby, shout out to you, Andrew, Maria, Ms. Kennedy, and Ms. Munja for helping us get all these finances in order and presenting it in what I hope will be a very simple graphic and manner that it can be understood by everyone. Thank you so very much. At this time, we'll have the presentation for the Jonesboro Youth City Government.
Mayor McHale, just take your hat off for us. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Oh, look at our beautiful faces up there. Okay, good morning. Well, not good morning. Good evening. Okay, that's not.
Good evening.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Okay, there we go. A little bit better that time. Good evening, Mayor. All right, my name is Mason White, and I proudly serve as the city manager for the Youth City Government. I'm excited to show the highlights of our Georgia Municipal Association Youth Government Symposium for 2025 in Savannah. Now, I do not know how to work this. We're gonna try. Okay, there we go. Over the 2 amazing days, our team grew as leaders. We built connections and represented the city of Jonesboro with pride among youth councils from across Georgia. We want to thank everyone that attended and for their full support. Also for the council for also getting us there to helping us make a difference in our community. As you can see on the screen now, on day 1, we met other councils. We played icebreaker games like Get to Know You Bingo and some number pairs, and even took home some medals. I don't think that picture's up there. Actually, it is right there. And I'm going to pass it over to our Councilwoman, Sydney Washington.
Thank
Hello,
you.
everyone. So that night, we reflected on our flows and grows. So we all kind of got together, talked about what we could do better, as well as what we did good that night. We focused on areas like teamwork and public speaking. And on day 2, we strengthened our leadership and advocacy skills. We practiced respectful debate and completed UNICEF USA Child Impact Statement Toolkit training, which is very enlightening, especially for our own government. We were also inspired by a powerful keynote from Dr. Bernice Berry, who encouraged us to embrace our stories and leadership. We ended the symposium with a river cruise along Savannah's historical waterfront, a great way to celebrate what we learned and the friendships we built with the youth councils from Stockbridge and Lovejoy. I think that's all for me.
Good afternoon, good evening, Mayor, Council, Mayor Pro Tem.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone in the audience.
Good evening.
Hey, so Mayor Michael here. This experience reminded us that leadership is all about, it's not all about titles, it's about service, teamwork, and growth. I'm proud of how the Jonesboro Youth City Government represented our city and proved that youth voices truly matter within the city of Jonesboro and, bigger and better. We represented the city in a way that others saw that youth really does play a major role within their cities. Thank you all once again, Mayor, Council, Mayor Pro Tem, for helping us out getting to Savannah as well.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming back. Thank you. Gotta bring the souvenirs out there. Okay, next time. All right, at this time, we'll have public comment. The people that are listed for public comment, when I call you, will you please come forward? The first person on the list is Larry Jones.
Madam Mayor, and council members, the last time I spoke before this body, it was basically a plea for unity. And I'm simply, for a few moments, just want to say that I'm sensing that there's still a lack of unity that's very intentional. It seems to be that people are looking for ways to find gotcha moments for different persons on either the mayor or the council. And I'm asking that we, as a small community, we have an opportunity not to become divided like our national politics, where it's just division and petty political divisions. I'm asking that we try hard to get along and serve the people. I understand that government is difficult, but at the same time, we as the constituents are looking for leadership. And we're looking for that leadership to be a united front between our mayor and our council. And I'm seeing things that concern me as a former business manager myself. I'm very concerned, as I mentioned before, about the cost of the audit, $95,000 approximately for an audit that could have been handled differently in simply investigating certain line items for a much cheaper cost. I understand there's talk about an audit for the Juneteenth celebration. As we've seen, the figures are before us, and these issues cost us as taxpayers money. And we as a small community, I'm concerned, we don't have a city manager. We're paying our mayor a pittance compared to other municipalities. And the truth of the matter is you get what you pay for in life. So we're asking that we perhaps will try to be a little more judicious in the way we spend our money and try to make sure that our monies are allocated in the ways they should be allocated, because we are watching. And this is an election season, and I think that your actions will determine the votes that are coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Van. Next one, I'm trying to look it up, it's texted to me. I can't, is that Antonio Lamar? Is he coming up, Madam Clerk?
Yes, he is.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council.
Good evening.
Before I even start, I wanted to say that we are located at 952 Dixie Drive, and upon even being here, I understood that our existence was totally dependent on you all as the council. And so I wanted to say that before I made a statement. Tonight I want to be transparent. Our request was based on our original application for a conditional use permit, which we understood would be authorized related with the uses described in our letter of intent, which included workshop, community outreach, small Bible studies, and counseling services. Our vision and plans have not changed in any way. When we first appeared before you all, I think when I spoke with Ms. Adalisa at that time, because we are a church organization, she underlined it, the various outline and how it was presented to us, that our existence being in the community totally dependent on how you all voted. So with the conditional use permit that you all approved, we proceeded forward in doing renovation, and we encountered some delays due to staff turnover and changes in approach within planning, the planning office, but our intentions and proposals remain unchanged.
we engaged Attorney Hilliard. We was advised by Mr. Kutu to try to get someone to give us some better understanding on the process concerning the variances. So we had a well-known attorney by the name of Hakeem Hilliard, who may be coming in at any time, but he was not able to be here right now due to a prior zoning engagement in Fulton County. I don't know if I should address the variances at this time, but I want to just reiterate that, you know, we recognize that there are many locations we could have chosen, but we selected Jonesboro because we truly believe we can make a difference. Been doing ministry for about 15 years now, and I have run into youth that deal with a lot of problems such as domestic violence, such as molestation, suicide, and things of that nature. And so, you know, we were looking for a place where we can be used to the community and not such larger settings. So we, at that time, brought that to the.
Excuse me, the 3 minutes are up.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Is there someone else?
Good evening. My name is Tanya Lawrence. I just put my name on the list, but I was here to just support the pastor and just to thank you all for just hearing us and everything. So I appreciate Mayor and
Thank you so
council.
much.
Thank you.
Is there Stan Jones?
Yes, Mayor and City Council, I'm of the respect.
Madam Clerk, is he coming to the mic?
Sir,
Sir, if
Can
you
you
could please
please
come
repeat that?
forward, Mr. Jones.
oh, okay. Mayor, he's declining to speak.
Okay, that
Yes,
concludes
Mayor
our
and
public
City
comment at this
Council, I'm
particular
just
time.
respectfully declining comment at this time.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
All right. At this time, this concludes our public comments. We have a series of public hearings. I will let Madam Clerk call those for us.
Okay. Letter A, public hearing regarding alcohol beverage pouring license number 25 ALC 008 to dispense beer, wine, and distilled spirits at 8562 Tara Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236. The legal business name is Southside Sports and Grill. Bobby Kimball has requested to be the licensed representative.
Is there anyone here to speak on that public hearing?
Can you please come
Yes,
up?
Mayor, there's
front?
someone.
Come on up. Jimbo.
Negative or just for, this is our establishment, so I didn't know, I didn't understand if she meant speak against it or. Oh, okay, okay, but thank you all for having me, and, thank you, Mayor and Council. So, me and my mother together are the two for Southside Sports and Grill, and, you know, we applied for the liquor permit. We wanted to do a business in Jonesboro. Jonesboro is such a small city compared to all the other cities, and so as we were deciding on where we wanted to put a business at, we said, well, can't go to Atlanta because there's so many businesses. Plant County is huge, and then we ended up right here in the plaza, right behind the city center, and we just had a lot of welcoming arms from a lot of people. I mean, the sheriff, captains, chiefs, everybody visited us and just welcomed us and just told us they hope that we could be successful over there. And a lot of people, even across the street, we have the sports cafe, which normally people would be competitive, but they came over there and they was like, listen, we hope y'all do really well. And we had a lot of interest as far as employment. And we just happy, we just happy to be over here and, you know, help the city and hope we can generate enough tax dollars to help the city. I mean, the mayor presented a spreadsheet. That's a lot of bills, and that money don't just fall out the air. So the more businesses you got, the more tax revenue you can generate, and, we all come together as one and see if we can do it together. And, we help you. And that's what I gotta say.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Is there anyone else here for that public hearing? Hey there, Mr. Steve. I now consider that public hearing closed. Thank you so very much. Next.
Council to consider this item, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Council, we'll consider, I forgot we're doing the votes afterwards. Council, I think staff recommendation was approved. I'll entertain a motion for such.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so very much. Next.
Next item, public hearing regarding variance application 25 VAR 001, submitted by Max Couton for properties located at 262 and 294 South Main Street, parcel number 06032A B002, 06032A B002Z, and 06032A B006, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236, within the MX District and the G Gateway South District. The properties consist of 29.14 plus or minus acres. The request seeks relief from the Gateway South District's exterior architectural design and material standards specifically related to porches and balconies.
Before we have that here, and I apologize, Ms. Akuta, is this the one that we wanted to table B, C, and D, as well as E?
Yes.
And if we were to table it, do we need to move forward, Attorney Dreyer, with the hearings for today, or table the hearings as well?
If we are, it can be tabled by council.
Okay, but are we going, do that mean we table the hearings as well, and they have to be reposted? Ms. Akuta, do you know?
No, you could table the hearing as well.
Would they have to be reposted?
Oh, yes, they will have to be re-advertised.
Okay. So is that still your recommendation to table items B, C, D, and E?
Yes. So, council, I would like to table this request. The applicant does have a packet there. Is this better? Sorry. The applicant is preparing a conditional use packet to include the additional parcel that wasn't included in the original submittal, and they're working to get that before you at the next work session in November. So instead of voting on the variances today, I discussed with the applicant, it's best to have them go together. Instead of voting on the materials and everything, they're gonna prepare a conceptual site plan to include the additional parcels, colored elevations, to present not essentially a new packet, but pretty much the project as proposed in a cleaner form.
And I think that's based on some of the recommendations that the council asked for last week. So council, I'll entertain a motion to table items B, C, D, and E.
Motion to table.
Any discussion, council?
I did have a discussion, or a question, rather.
Yes.
Will this come back to us with those things that we spoke about last week in regards to, I know they sent over some things regarding the extended playgrounds, but what does the playground look like?
Right,
The
that's
green
what's-
space, like what does it look like? I know we was trying to, we're being flexible about balconies.
Right, that's what's required. So before they come back before you, they're gonna have to show a conceptual plan to detail everything.
Okay, I know we spoke
And
about.
let us be mindful, though, that the variance we're only approving variances based on what the variances address. We have no variances, or we have no code that address playgrounds. So we have to be very careful about implementing anything in addition to the overlay requirements. So if there are some concerns about that, we just have to be mindful that they cannot be paired or partnered with any of the variances that are being requested if our code does not allow or mandate certain things. So I don't believe our code mandates anything regarding playgrounds except if it was a daycare or something. So we want to be just careful that we don't pair those with something to say it's a requirement and really is independent of the particular variances that are listed, such as architectural designs.
Gotcha, and I guess I was speaking more to the balconies that they were suggesting on removing, and to our point last week, what are we gonna be replacing the balconies with? So I just wanted to see.
And that's the color renderings that they're gonna provide for us that they do not have. We requested for color, and I think Councilman Miller requested that we have it from every elevation. And so that's what we are asking them for and to have before us before we vote on the variance. Is that correct, Mr. Kuta, what was requested?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor?
I had a
One more
question,
discussion.
Mayor.
Got two.
Any opposition?
We got a question.
I'm sorry, was there any other discussion?
My only
Was
question
some more
was
discussion?
just, were they made aware that we were gonna be tabling these tonight?
Yes, I did speak with the applicant and let them know I was gonna recommend it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
There's a motion on the, is there a motion on the floor? I believe it is.
Yes.
It's been appropriately second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mayor, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, I'm not able to hear the yeas and the nays, so.
None
Howard, just let me
opposed.
know.
None opposed.
All right, and now we'll go to item F.
Public hearing regarding variance application 25 VAR 005 submitted by Antonio Lamar for property located at 952 Dixie Drive. Parcel number 13209A A006 and 13209A A007, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236, within the mixed-use district. The properties consist of 0.91 plus or minus acres. The request seeks relief from minimum lot area.
Is there anyone here to speak on that public hearing?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Mayor. Again, Attorney Hilliard, Hakeem Hilliard should have been here, but I am going to be his replacement. The minimum lot acre, section 86-183, B2, in addressing that variance, it says that the parcel is under the minimum required size for religious, but is planted in a historic mixed-use strip. Its boundaries are fixed and surrounded by similar small lotted properties, which are typically for the corridor. It said whether the applicant action, the only way to permit reasonable use is to grant relief for the sub-acre parcel. It's the only practical way for the property to be used for assembly without sacrificing the safety or the neighborhood character. Injury to public health, safety, or welfare, no. There's no risk of operation. It's fully compliant with safety, health, and welfare codes with strong community support. So that is the response that Attorney Hilliard had for that variance, if that makes any sense to you.
Are there any other, thank you so very much. Is there anyone else here to speak on this particular hearing? Mr. Lamar, any other comments?
No, not for that variance. Do you want me to just go through all the rest of them at one time?
No, let us entertain. Ms. Akuta, do you want us, how would you like to proceed, Ms. Akuta? Per variance?
It may be easiest to just do them all together. So I don't know if they need.
So you want me, I can't do a public hearing for all of them together, so I'm saying, do you want me to wait and hold the vote until after all one? Let's just treat them one by one. I think that's the best. Can you step back, Mr. Lamar, in case anyone else wants to come speak on that public hearing? You don't have to go far.
Okay.
Is there anyone else here to speak on that particular public hearing? I'll now consider that public hearing closed. Ms. Akuta, what, so there's a recommendation, as a denial from from Ms. Akuta. At this time, I'll entertain any motion that the council would like to bring forth. And Madam Clerk, you're gonna have to repeat it for me.
Mayor, may I ask a question, or would you like me to wait until discussion to ask the question?
We need to go into a motion and then entertain a discussion in that motion, after that motion is first and second.
Motion to approve the public hearing regarding variance application number 25, BAR 005.
Second.
Was it appropriately second?
Yes, we have a motion by Councilmember Miller, a second by Councilmember Alfred Dixon.
Okay, now we have discussion.
Okay, And so my counsel or Mr. Coote, anybody can correct me. I just want to make sure I'm understanding the situation appropriately. So when the applicant originally applied, we all said that we understood what the mission was. We all agreed that it was fine. We know that the name says Church of Zion, I believe, but we know they're not acting in a capacity of a church in the sense that they're not having worship service and things like that. And from my understanding, the variances are coming before us because of the affiliation of the whole religious classification, but they're not acting in that role. And so we've had them pay for things, we've had them pay for conditions and things like that. And again, you weren't here, I believe, when they first applied, but it seems to me like it's just a bunch of miscommunication, and we already told them that they can go ahead and be in the space and do what they want to do, what they need to do in the space. They're not gonna have services, they're only wanna assist the youth. They gave us the time frames, they gave us the days. And so I guess my question, and I never wanna seem like I'm going against staff, but my question is, why are we denying something that it feels like we already approved?
Right, so essentially, when the conditional use came before you, it was 8 conditions associated with it. And in staff's recommendation that my predecessor included in her report, she stated that a variance was needed for each item that they could not meet. And in this case, one of the biggest things was it being a standalone building. So we're not a dry county. So one of the things when it comes to churches and strip malls, alcohol licenses have to be considered. And having a church in a strip mall can kind of, be a barrier for other businesses in the area. So when it comes to staff recommendation, granting one variance wouldn't bring him compliant. He would need all 4. So the approval was based on conditions.
But if each variant, okay, thank you. Each variant, I believe, has a consideration for us to deny it. And so that means that essentially, I believe that we're setting them up for failure, right? I understand it's standalone, but they're not acting church, and so I don't want to dissuade businesses, but they won't be conducting service there. Is there do we need them to not plaster Church of Zion on their large, so that not to dissuade? Because I feel like, again, we already kind of approved this, and I don't want to seem like we've had someone put all this money into the city, and then all of a sudden now we're saying, never mind.
So according to the use table, it's not just limited to churches, it's religious organizations other than churches and other places of worship. And then the other next code is churches and other places of worship. So because they offer Bible study or any type of religious type activity, that puts them in that category. So it's not just the name.
And also, can we talk about the license issue, how this came up? Yeah. So does he have so the business license that he's gonna apply for is up under what type of LLC?
Mr. Lamar can possibly speak to that. I think he mentioned a 508. And
the name's
which serves as a what? I'm sorry, thank you.
It's for church religious organizations.
So your 508 is what?
It serves as religious church organizations.
And I think that was the condition that at first it wasn't a church, but then the 508 status is a church.
So we were not notified of that exemption, but we did not use that. So we were able to go ahead and apply and pay for the business license, but we could not leave with the business license because of variances.
So the business license what was the business?
For what we put in the intent letter for to be able to have workshops, help meetings and stuff, and things of that nature.
No, I'm saying your business is registered with the state, and by the state you're required to identify the type of business. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the type of business identified at the state?
It will fall up under the Church at Zion.
I know, but what type of business? So when you file for the state,
So I
correct me
guess
if
it
I'm
would
wrong.
be, community outreach, I mean,
No, I'm saying, what is listed, if we were to pull your state license, would it indicate that you all are listed with the state as a church?
Yes.
Okay, so
Secretary,
I think the-
Secretary of State, yes,
Yeah, and it would list you all as a church.
yes.
Okay, and I think, council, that's what's bringing us to these problems, is that initially, we were told it was not a church, and then when it came up to be a license, it indeed was filed with the state as a church, I believe, and that's how we got to this point. I think, and again, I'm not opposing it, but I just want to justify how we got to this point when it was, one approval was made, but I do believe it was because we were told it was not a church. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Lowe.
I explained to Ms. Alice at that time that we are a church organization. I don't know how that was communicated, but and how the use was being was going to be used. I wanted to know from her at that time, would it be dead on arrival? So we had several meetings concerning that, and at that time, she said that she would go in and look in, and then after that meeting, she advised me to submit for a conditional use permit and bring it before council. And so when we brought it before council, we did not move forward until you guys gave the approval. But upon approval, we went forward with finishing renovations and all these different things. And she never followed up with us. We reached out to her and found out that she was no longer part of the city of Jonesboro at that time. So Ms. Akutu coming in, then we pretty much is rehashing out, from.
I think the better thing is, we did approve it, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Initially,
Yes, ma'am.
and you came before council?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and we asked you, was this a church? And you told us.
Yes, I said it's a church, yes, ma'am. If you go back.
That part I don't recall. I think you were calling that it wasn't a church, that we're not a church. We're just gonna be doing counseling services but council, do y'all remember different? Maybe, again, my memory
I made it
told
clear
you.
several times that we were, as a matter of fact, I put it in the intent letter.
Yes.
I'm gonna say they always
I put
presented as
everything
Church
in
of
there.
Zion. They just said they weren't
I
having
sent several
service.
emails as well, at that time.
They always presented as Church of Zion. They just made it clear that they weren't gonna be having regular services there. They did mention Bible study, and then other community projects. I believe it was like 6. It was closing at 6, opening at 6, but they always presented as Church of Zion when we approved them.
Do we have, Ms. Akuta, do we have the original application? The
Yes.
first one that was approved?
Yes, it should be included in the packet under VR, 25 VR 005.
I'm looking for it. Only thing I see are things that are dated 9/22. I'm saying the one when Mrs. Cameron, when your predecessor was here.
Mayor, if you look under page 134, there's a letter dated.
Okay, I'm
June
looking at the one that says June 13 is approve your request for a conditional use permit for Bible study, self-help meeting, and workshops.
So the original
That's
staff
what was
report.
approved by Mrs., I believe Ms. Cameron was here at the time.
The original staff report begins on page 131.
Thank you.
Gotcha, okay. So council, do you all see that, what was stipulated by Mrs. Cameron?
And you all are speaking of the staff recommendations by Ms. Cameron, 1 through 7?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm waiting on you all. So there's a motion for
Your-
approval. It's been appropriately seconded. Is there any further discussion for this particular variance?
Yeah, yes. Council, I would ask, I'm at an impasse here, because I know if one thing is denied, then it's over with for them, and I don't want, it's not sitting with me well that we agreed to something and had someone put money in, not only to pay for the applications, but to also pay to renovate the space inside out, whatever it is that they did. And so I don't know, I'm trying to decide if it's better to table these so he can have a opportunity to go back and classify it appropriately as far as his business license goes. But I also don't want that to be detrimental too, because I know you need to go ahead and open up.
And I agree with you, because once there is a denial, Mr. Lamar, it takes 12 months to come back before it. And Mr. Kuta, please correct me if I'm wrong. So I think the question is here that the original condition was given assuming it was the things that were listed on the approval letter. It was since known that in the registered as a church, which perhaps would have provided for a denial at that particular time. And so I think we just need to make sure from a legal perspective that although the state says that it's recognized as a church, that we're not that we're in agreement of not recognizing it as a church. And because what happens is you get into these variances issues where definitions are blurred to fit getting into a certain one, and I just want to make sure that the city is protected in that. Attorney Dry, I don't know if you want to opine on that.
Mayor, there is, from what I've heard and investigated, there is some competing narratives on what was relayed to the city, and then tonight on what was relayed that the city represented. As far as permitting a variance on these items goes, the city has the right to do that, or it has the right to deny it. And because specifically when it comes to a church, the regulations for the church are not, they do not favor any religious institution over another. They're not providing preferential treatment of any religion or freedom of speech. It pertains to parking, how many folks will be assembled, that sort of thing.
Okay, so so if we were to give relief and approve and waive allow for a variance that is not a standalone, I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure that I guess for it to be consistent in my eyes, we need to recognize it as a church and then give the variance and approve the variances, but recognize it for what it is and what is listed at the Secretary of State. So we can say that it's a church and all agree that it's a church and then still still approve all the variances. I just want us to give the variances for the right type of business and not have it would be ambiguous, some high level of ambiguity in regard to what the business is.
Mayor,
because the state says it's a church, and so we need to say it's a church.
Mayor, that's a really good point, and we do want to be consistent when we can with what the state is classifying this business as. But when it comes to what has been represented to the city of the use of this building, even if it is a church, it is not for large regular church assemblies. If it is for a Baptist youth group or an Islamic prayer study, as long as those are consistent.
Could those be listed as a condition, like approval of the variance, but with a condition that, because I don't want to get into how do we define church service. Does that mean that if we approve this, then he can't hold a Bible study on Sunday? Because it might look like church.
Well, that's
why I said let's prove it as a church. And give and approve the variances, and then we don't have to sit around here and watch whether he's having church or not, because we knew it's a church and we approved the variances for him to exist as a church.
That's what I think Ms. Akuta has really dug down into. What would be the use of these? And it would be, we would not want to allow large assemblies, because that would be non-conforming, and that would open the door potentially to us having to do that for other religious facilities. But when the record is developed and the city's been very thorough on this, then it can be approved as a variance, but it clearly, the record, I think, shows that there will not be large assemblies there. And if there was a use of it for a large assembly, it would be in violation of the variance and would give the city rights. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but there is no variance that speaks to size that I see. There's one that speaks to parking lot, there's one that speaks to standalone business, there's one that speaks to minimum parking, and there's one that speaks to landscaping. So there is no variance that addressed whether he is going to have large assemblies, and we can't define large assemblies. And I still feel like if the council agrees for this variance and it passes, let's pass it as a church, and that way he has no constraints, because otherwise it needs to have conditions that says that you cannot hold whatever we define as church service. If that makes sense. I'm not opposed to us giving variances, but if we give variances based on those three things that, Bible study, then, somebody could raise and say, no, they were actually having church. They just only have church on Fridays, because there's nothing that says that the church has to have church on Sunday.
Mayor, that was my question too. I mean, because I know a lot of churches.
Councilman Lester, I'm hearing you a little bit. If you
hear
can speak in the mic so I can try to
How
hear.
about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That was my question exactly, is if they don't hold church on Sunday, what about any other day of the week? Because I know, Baptist churches hold services on Wednesdays also. And other churches hold stuff on Saturdays and are around there. Would there be something that would?
Can I comment?
Yeah.
On the original docket, Ms. Adelisa, she had presented it as only small assemblies, and from that, she partnered with me to get the number of seats we could have, via the fire marshal, and not to exceed of that, and not to cause any, issues with our partners. So we definitely don't plan to be a mega church or anything that would, be harmful to our neighbors or the city. So as the attorney said, we put this application in mind of small assembly. So when we go back and look at the minutes for the first approval at that time, it actually states she presented it as small assembly at that time in June.
Yeah, I know that there's some churches that are held with the 5 or 6 people in somebody's basement. I see that off and on all the time. And it doesn't really matter what day, it's just what day they decide to call for it. I just didn't know if that would make a difference in this particular situation at all.
It wouldn't make a difference, because even Mrs. Cameron considered it as to operate a small assembly, but it still went up under the NACE code of churches, other places, worship, and religious organizations. Ms. Akuta, is there a separate NACE code for small assembly, or does that still fall in the church?
I believe it would still follow with church. I didn't find a definition in our charter for small assemblage.
So, Mayor, can we just let the record state that we understand that this is Church of Zion and what it falls under, but we're approving these variances with the knowing, with the understanding that they will not hold any services outside of what was listed in their approval letter?
But there's nothing that's in the approval letter that defines it. It just says Bible study, which is church, along with other things. So I still say, I feel like unless Ms. Akuta or the attorney, we should approve this as a church and just approve the variances, but know that it's a church. And then once we approve, because we have to approve it up under some, am I correct, Mr. Kuchar? We have to approve it up under some type of title, in regard to our code. And what she's saying is there's no small assembly ordinance. So the only thing that it falls up under would be churches. Am I correct, Mrs. Akuta? Is that what we said?
So when it comes to the small assemblage, that's more so, it's not so much a NAICS code, it's just saying whether it's gonna be a small or a large gathering. So it would still have to classify based off the use, not the number of people.
And that's what, and then the usage, you know, to be fair, you go back to what is filed with under the state, and that's what I was referencing. Oh, Ms. Akuta, how else would you define use? Is there another way that we can define use?
Mayor?
Ms.
Mayor, may I
Akuta, I'm
speak?
sorry.
This
Yes.
is the Mayor Pro Tem. May I speak? Can she hear me?
I can't hear, Ms. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor Pro Tem saying something.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. What about, as I'm sitting here listening to what you need to use this facility for? So you're going to have religious-based events within the facility?
Yes.
Okay. What about under a small event center? Would this classify in that category and be qualified without the variances if we classified this as a religious-based event center or a small event center?
I believe event centers still require conditional use approval, so that would require a separate application. But, give me 1 second, I can pull up that code section. I believe they can't be located in a strip center.
I think we've put some event centers in the strip malls before, I believe.
They put event centers in there, we'll shut them down.
Because we had questions about that before. You remember when the lady who said it wasn't gonna be an event center, and then 2 weeks later, I think it turned out to be an event center.
Yeah, and it is a condition. When it comes to event centers, they must be located in a standalone building. No plant centers, connected storefronts, sharing a common wall or 0 lots with a 0 lot line development or shared parking.
So, Mayor, if I may, I want to make sure I'm understanding.
Yes.
You're saying, fine, it's a church, let's go ahead and approve the variances as of the church and move on? Is that what I heard you say?
Well, I'm saying, I don't, in my non-community development self, to me, that makes it cleaner, because what I don't want to happen is, it appears as though it's church, and then we get into this debate on, they met on Friday, it was 20 people, and they was praying. Well, that's church, or no, that was Bible study. That's why we usually reference what was filed with the state that you're representing business up under. It's like if you go to the state and get a license as Danya's House of Boutique to be a beauty supply person, to be a beautician, and then I come here and say, but no, my business is really this. Well, state license says one thing. So again, I am not opposed to that, but I don't know. And so we have to be, I know we have to be mindful that we're not too restrictive on these religious institutions. But again, he's saying that he's not a religious institution.
I think he's saying the use of the building won't be used for worship like a traditional religious institution. I don't think he's ever said he's not a religious institution. I think the want to help the community comes from the fact that it's a religious institution. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's just not using the building, and they have their own church. They're just not using the building.
That's why I said, council, if we would entertain just approving, and Ms. Akuta, I usually like to always go with denial, but I understand you kind of approve this. You kind of inherited this. I just don't want it to seem as though we're being restrictive toward a religious institution. So can we approve all of these variances if this was a church? It can be at the pleasure of the council to approve all these variances, the standalone part, everything, if we defined it as a church.
I'm sorry, Mayor, that was for me.
Attorney Dwyer, I'm asking you, I'm sorry.
Your Honor, and I just want to, I was just thinking of something too. The attorney letter submitted September 18th, 2025 on behalf of the church does not specifically list, you know, the First Amendment and the right to assembly. It mentions it once, but it's all in the characteristics of what is a reasonable use for the space. So it would be up to the city to give a variance to say that the use here is reasonable for the space. I think that's the issue in front of council, and what this means for this church versus other churches, as long as there is some consideration on the main purpose behind this is what is best for this zoning, the storefront property, and not whether they're conducting church or not. It would be the same thing as if there was a massive volleyball tournament in standalone.
And we've had
thing.
those.
Right.
No,
So
no,
it
and
would-
I agree.
yeah.
I guess I'm totally okay with it. My thought is that if we're okay holding Bible study and then still allowing for a liquor license or a liquor permit at the building adjacent to it. So I think that's why we say churches stand alone, and we're all too familiar with the ruling that we have on that. So council, I want to be clear, Mr. Kuta, if we approve these variances, we're approving the variances on NACE code of a church, am I correct?
Right, so whatever decision is made, it will be based off how it's currently classified.
Which is how is it classified?
As a religious organization other than churches and other places of worship.
Okay, perfect. So if we were to approve that, then does that mean that the rules go into effect for anyone that might want a liquor license surrounding that?
So if anyone wants to have a liquor license nearby, when they get their survey and everything done, and the church would be in the area.
No, so I thought we had something that said in our code that a liquor license or something could not be provided within X amount of feet of a church. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. You can't be within so many feet of a religious facility.
So if we are approving this as a religious facility usage, because that's the only way that you're saying that we could, then there could be no liquor license established in any of the buildings around it for however many square feet. Am I correct? Which probably would be the adjacent buildings, the adjacent suites in that room. Am I correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so council, as long as we understand that if anybody comes through, we probably won't be able to approve a liquor license or anything. And I'm totally okay. It's not a huge building. And I don't think we've ever had liquor permits or special event permits for any of the other suites either.
Not lawful.
Okay. All right, so, council, there's a motion to approve. It's been appropriately second. Now that we got through all of that, just understand that we're approving this variance based on the usage of the church, other places of worship, and religious organizations. And I'm okay with that. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just one more question.
Mayor, Councilmember Alfred Dixon has a question.
And
We've called for the vote already, so.
Aye.
All in
But-
favor?
yeah.
How many was in favor?
Aye.
Everybody.
Councilmember Powell? In favor?
It was
Everyone's in
unanimous,
favor.
Mayor.
Unanimous.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So, any opposed? Thank you so much. Next public hearing, you can just state it. Mr. Lamar, just stay close by because you got a few more. Just hold on a second.
Public hearing.
Just for formality, just for the record.
Public hearing regarding variance application 25 VAR 006 submitted by Antonio Lamar for property located at 952 Dixie Drive. Parcels number 13209A A006 and 13209A A007, Jonesboro, Georgia, within the mixed-use district. The properties consist of 0.91 plus or minus acres The request seeks relief from standalone building requirements.
Is there anyone here to speak on this particular public hearing?
Yes, I am.
I think, Lamar, we could.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right.
Step back, is there anyone else that'd like to come forth to speak on behalf of this public hearing?
No one
All
else
right.
has come forth, Mayor.
I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No opposed.
Madam Clerk, any opposed?
No opposed, Mayor.
Okay, perfect. Let's go to the next public hearing.
Next item, H, public hearing regarding variance application 25 VAR 007, submitted by Antonio Lamar for property located at 952 Dixie Drive. Parcels number 13209A, A006, and 13209A, A007, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236, within the mixed-use district. The properties consist of 0.91 plus or minus acres. The request seeks relief from minimum parking requirements.
Is there anyone here to speak on that public hearing? Mr. Lamar, can you step back for me just in case anybody wants to come to the mic? Is there any, unless you want to speak on this, anybody here to speak on this particular public hearing? I'll now consider this public hearing closed. Council, I'll entertain a motion.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so very much. Is it one more?
Yes.
Yes.
Public hearing regarding variance application 25 VAR 008, submitted by Antonio Lamar for property located at 952 Dixie Drive. Parcels number 13209A, A006, and 13209A, A007, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236, within the mixed-use district. The properties consist of 0.91 plus or minus acres. The request seek relief from landscaping and buffer requirements.
Is there anyone here to speak on this particular public hearing? I'll now consider this public hearing closed. At this time, I entertain a motion.
So made.
I mean, so may, I don't.
Motion to
that you
approve.
approve or deny.
Motion to approve.
Second.
What's the motion?
Motion by Councilmember Miller, second by Don Dixon to approve.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
All in favor?
I had a discussion.
Discussion by Councilmember Alfred Dixon.
And just for clarity purposes, with the approval of these variances, will the applicant be able to resume operations tomorrow?
He may, I'm not sure, he still has to go through any type of permitting from the state. We're just doing the approval of the variances, and so he still has other things that might need to be done, but he can work that out with Mrs. Akuta.
Correct. He'll still have to get
Okay,
his
I'll-
inspections and everything done, and then actually get his business license before he can open.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All
None
right, thank you so very much. This time that concludes all of our public hearing. Council, we have a set of minutes before us, a lot of them. I'll entertain motions for each one individually. Council I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, I was trying to run through them really quick.
Council to consider approval of special call meeting public hearing number 1, dated 8/18/2025, regarding the millage rate.
Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So made.
Second that motion.
We have
Any
a,
discuss,
oh, okay, you heard, okay.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Council-
opposition? Thank you so much.
Next item, council to consider approval of the special call meeting public hearing number 2 minutes, dated 8/18/2025, regarding the millage rate.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item
Any
C,
opposition?
no
Thank you so
opposition.
much. Next,
Council to consider approval of special call meeting, council meeting, public hearing number 3 minutes, dated 8/25/2025, regarding millage rate.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I had
So
a-
made.
Second.
Any discussion?
I did have one.
All in?
I just need to make an amendment to the minutes.
Was there a discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Mayor.
The vote for item A under new business.
Can somebody talk in the microphone, please?
The vote under item A under new business, it should reflect that I voted in favor instead of voting against.
Okay.
So now entertain somebody rescind that motion so I can entertain a motion with said changes.
Councilmember Don Dixon.
Councilman Dixon, will you modify your motion to include the said changes?
Motion to rescind,
Second.
amend the motion, I'm sorry.
It's been appropriately second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? We good for the next item, Madam Clerk?
Council to consider approval of the work session minutes dated September 2nd, 2025.
I entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next.
Thank you so much.
Next.
One more set.
Okay. Council to consider approval of the regular council meeting minutes dated September 8th, 2025.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'd like to make a motion to table.
To table,
Yes.
is there any corrections that need to be made? If not, they'll be brought forth, just like this.
I would need to meet with Ms. Chandrella to discuss the corrections.
Well, no, it needs to be discussed verbally, like, so we'll know, because they're presented here, so their changes, the
I-
changes can be made here.
I did look at the meeting minutes, and I did start to go back to the video, and a lot of things wasn't addressed that I felt like needed to be addressed. So I wanted to get those items over to Ms. Chandrella so she can record them properly.
So
into
she
the minutes.
can't, if she's already, so the changes have to be, so can you just make changes at his discretion?
I've never experienced that, cause we don't
That's
do
what I thought. I don't know how to
verbatim, we don't do
verbalize that.
verbatim minutes, so we capture the essence, and because we have the video and people can refer back to the video, so, then all council would have that privilege to do that, so I'm not sure how you wanna proceed.
So, yeah, so then yeah, that's what I was thinking. So we can table this and bring them back as they are listed, and you can enter into the record any addendums or addition that you would like added to the minutes.
Can you say that one more
But you
time?
can't, like, speak with her off the record and tell her, highlight this, highlight that. Is that okay, Attorney Dryer, that we
Yeah,
that we
that's
table
what I
them
told
until next meeting, and he comes back and enter into the record those things that he would like added?
I think that's.
Unless there's a question like, like you said before, I voted no and it was really yes.
Well,
And even that correction, to be honest with you, we should have verified video, based on the video.
Mayor, that's the only thing I would say. If there's a clearly recorded vote, or maybe even a moving or second, those would be the kind of things that would be permissible to change. That, it would be fairly limited, though.
Okay. And also, Mayor, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, if you would go by that change that we put in the record, if we could just go verify that it was correct change.
Okay, and if I may, just add one thing, we're working on trying to capture correctly the votes versus hearing, because the video is not always on, looking at the faces of everyone. So it is so important if you could, speak into the mic until we can get this video situation updated. Thanks.
All right, so there's a motion to table it. Do you want to keep that motion on the table, Councilman Dixon, and have the opportunity to add into the record at the next council meeting?
Yes.
Did he say yes?
Correct. Motion to table.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tabling? Did we receive a second, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Councilmember Lester.
All right, is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you so much. Council, we have a consent agenda before you with a list of items. I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety.
Make a motion. Second.
Is there a motion, Madam Clerk?
Motion by Councilmember Powell, second by Councilmember Alfred Dixon.
If no further discussion, I entertain a motion. All in favor? I entertain a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you so much. At this time, we can move into old business.
Council to consider approval of an ordinance regarding a budget transfer of $40,000 from other professional services, line item 100-3200-52-1290 to the software support line item 100-3200-52-1330 within the police department.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
the justification on that needs to be corrected.
Can you repeat that for me?
Under the-
Madam Clerk?
He said the justification on, which one?
The actual ordinance needs to be corrected. It says this transfer is necessary to cover the negative balance in the travel budget.
Okay, Ms. Kennedy is before you all today, so Ms. Kennedy, can you, do you understand what he's asking for?
Yep, I got it.
Do you all want to table it, or are we okay with that correction? Council, does somebody want to make a motion for approval with the said changes, or do you all want to table? Madam Clerk, if anybody saying anything, can you
No one
repeat
has
for me?
said anything yet.
We can correct it on this.
So it's not travel.
Okay,
It's not travel, it's going to something.
can I will entertain a motion to approve
Said changes.
with
With said
said
changes.
correction. Is there a motion, Madam Clerk?
No, ma'am, not yet.
So made.
Okay, Councilmember Don Dixon made the motion
I'll second the
Have a-
motion with said changes.
with said changes, and then Mayor Pro Tem Messett seconded.
Any discussion, council?
I have a discussion, just for the record. Can you just state the said changes?
Oh,
If you look where it says justification,
You got you right here at the bottom.
right, read it, and it says negative balance in the travel budget is not the travel budget.
Gotcha. Thank you.
But as long as the motion, I want to make sure the motion is clearly stated in accordance to what's listed on the item, and then she can go in and change the notes. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you all. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so very much. Next item.
Council to consider approval of an ordinance regarding a budget transfer of $16,000 from street lights line item 100-4100-53-1231 to the furniture and fixtures line item 100-4100-53-1620 within the Public Works Department.
Council, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Mayor,
Yes, sir?
if I may, that also needs to be corrected. It says travel budget, but I also would like to understand why we are making this move to get the 46,000 to purchase the, furniture now. It's gonna be after the first of the year before the building is anywhere near completion, correct?
Correct, and Mrs. Taylor is here. The ship out date on this is running about 2 or 3 months. So that's why we waited until this time and didn't order it in April or May. With shipping, tariffs, and a number of things, we just didn't want anything to go up. So they would hold until the building is ready, but this is that 3-month, it's not like you're going to, a furniture store and picking it out right there. This has to be ordered. So that's why we waited until now and not, the original completion date was I think, June 31st, and then when that's why we're kind of following where it's supposed to. Now it's supposed to be completed. I think the date is November, Ms. Akuta, what is the new date? November 31st?
Yes, I believe so.
So we were timing it with that, because it is on some things it's 3 months, but the recommendation was 90 days out to go ahead and place the order.
All right, my other question is, this is.
I'm sorry.
My other question is, this is coming out of the 2025 budget, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we still have 30,000 budgeted for the 2026. Why are we budgeting it twice?
We haven't presented that budget to you all, and actually, Ms. Cannon, is that the one that I struck down today? And yeah, so we're still going to that, and that item actually, when we met today, was removed. So we have not presented you all the new budget,
Okay,
which would not include that much for the furnishing.
all right.
That was one of the ones I took off, I think.
It is. And Mayor, can I wanted to bring up about the $5,000 that we needed to move for the, youth council. That money that the council approved for them to go to,
Yeah, so that needs to be added during your report, since we didn't add it as an agenda item. It can be added during aren't you giving a financial report today?
I didn't see that
No.
on there. I didn't see.
No,
that.
it's not on here. We did not add that to the agenda, so we'll probably have to wait until November. I forgot, sorry. We
Yeah, I
just
don't
discussed
see
it at
that on
2:30, so.
City event financial is the only thing on there.
Okay, so let's stay with this one. Did we get a vote for, is there a?
We need
is
a
there
motion
to
and a
approve
second.
Item B, count on the old business. Madam Clerk, did we get a motion?
We're waiting for a motion. And also, this item was approved, I was looking at our minutes back on September 8th, and this is just for the ordinance, the approval of the ordinance.
Okay, so we approved the total amount, is that correct? We just need
Yes.
to approve the transfer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we're just waiting for a motion with said changes.
Said changes.
So council, we've already approved the purchase. What was the amount of the approval for the purchase?
We had approved the 16,000 transfer.
So this is, again, it's already been approved, it's just approval to create the ordinance?
Correct.
No, I don't
I have
believe
a
this was
question.
approved because we had the paperwork wrong. Isn't this the one, council, isn't this the one where you had the wrong line items or something last week?
That was-
And that's why I can't. We approved the amount that we would spend on the furniture, I
Right.
believe, in September or August. But that's why this is on old business, because it had to be corrected and couldn't go on to consent.
Correct.
So is there no motion for the transfer, even though we've already approved it?
Yeah,
The actual-
I just want to say I apologize I got to get used to this budget transfer sheet. I'm not used to it like this, so I just got to get used to it, so I apologize. I got to get myself more familiar with it so I can write it correctly.
You got a lot of stuff to look through.
That's
That ain't
I-
no problem.
Okay, I appreciate it though.
Do we need another motion to approve it, or?
We're still waiting on the original motion on this one.
Well, I have one question, if I may. Is it okay for us to approve these things, even though what we have in front of us has like question marks for the ordinance number, question marks for the amendment number, October 6th for the
So
date? Do
the
those things need to
question
be
marks
corrected?
are because in our ordinance and resolution books, we try to keep our numbers in order, and if something get denied, it'll take our numbers all over the place. And we're actually experiencing that now, wondering if an ordinance is missing because it's not in the book. So what we do, we don't number it until it's approved.
Okay, and same thing with the date, it's okay?
Yes. Well, the date,
Reads
it would
October
be the
6th.
date of the meeting.
And so that'll just be updated along with
Yes.
the, okay. All right. Motion to approve.
All right, so do we have a motion on the floor yet for approval?
Yes.
Transfer. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I mean, is it a motion, was it second?
Miller, okay, so who did the motion?
I second it.
You did, okay. We have a motion by Councilmember Miller and a second by Councilmember Don Dixon.
If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Was that with the amendments, correct?
With said changes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Thank you so very much. Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. We'll have to bring that one back before us in November, unless there is any way to add anything to the agenda now, or is it best, Attorney Dreyer, just to wait till November?
Be a little better to wait till November, but if,
Okay.
yeah. it'd be better.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Item C, up on the old business.
Council to discuss scheduling a date for a candidate forum regarding the November 4th, 2025 election.
Mayor Pro Tem, do you have an update for us on that?
Mayor, I've reached out to a few organizations. I'm waiting on callbacks. I really need to find out what the schedule in this room is over the next 2 weeks so that I know what availability we have, that I can work with an organization to see when we can.
And I think the community room may be better just for like acoustics and, because we have 7 candidates, and so squeezing 7 candidates across there, we can use our nesting table, kind of like what we set up for the DDA now, and put the tables in formats. That would be my preference. And I don't believe there is any evening events in the community room at this time.
My thought was it would be well seen in here. We have good seating, and they could hear the candidates better than here, but that's not your thought?
I didn't think so. I think, because that wall is right there when people are sitting there, so I think to make it more personable, and just for the ones I've seen, that we would just use we could use the community room. We didn't even have to have tables in front of them. We could do more of a round table stage, because we have 7 candidates. If it was 6, we'd put 3 on each side. But to put someone in the middle and then 3, you want it to be as fair as possible, so I felt like the community room gives us a more unified look across all 7 candidates.
Okay. I will, so there's no event scheduled in the community room over the next week or so?
Not in the evening time. Ms. Bentley, do you know of any? I don't think so. I think all the ones that we had, our Rotary clubs and things like that, are all during the day.
That's correct, ma'am.
Shelby say that's correct.
Okay, perfect. I'm just looking, so. So we will come back to that if we get a date. Mayor Pro Tem is looking into some organizations that can host it. I checked with a few, some fraternities and sororities, and they have already booked theirs. Any other discussion on that item?
1 second, Mayor.
Madam Mayor, this is Shelby. We do have a couple events scheduled in the community room for Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, that's right, but not during the week. I was thinking
But
this
not
is-
during the week.
Ms.
All
Bentley,
right, I'm imagining Mayor Pro Tem, we were looking at a date during the week, am I correct?
I am, but if Ms. Bentley could just email me the schedule for the room, just to be safe, and then I can have it on hand when I'm speaking with people, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
And, Mayor and Council. Mayor,
I'm sorry, Councilman Dixon, yes, sir?
well, I just know that as we're talking about the different events that are on the calendar for the community room, I know we discussed in September to hold a retreat for the budget. Is that on the calendar as well?
That's not an agenda item. We can discuss it in your report. I want to kind of stick to the agenda.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you so much. But please bring that back up if you need to, or send me an email and we can schedule it. All right, let's go into new business.
New business, letter A, council to consider a consultant agreement between the City of Jonesboro, Georgia, and the Alliance Group for contract compliance services related to 100 Gloria Drive project, Public Works Building.
Attorney Dreyer or Mr. Kuta, either one of you all speaking to this?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Mayor. We discussed the substantial delay with the Gloria Drive project, and we discussed that leadership here called a meeting. I was present. We went through the substantial delays, a lack of justification for it, and some other important items that needed to be cleaned up very quickly. Currently, if we were to strictly enforce the $200 a day fine, it would, at this point, it would exceed 12,000, but by the time this thing actually gets completed, it would probably exceed 26,000. So in fines, but for expediency, to make sure that we actually get this done as quickly as possible and work a little bit with the contracting company, we proposed that they give us a discount of $12,000 on the total project cost to be finished by November 11th, 2025. That is in their best interest, but it also helps us make sure this project gets done as quickly as possible. And I know the mayor can speak to this, but Marcus was there, and the current place they are is inadequate and unacceptable. So this was the most efficient way, and we were able to get this set up in a way that there would be no additional charges for the city.
Council, yeah, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So
Is there a motion? I can't.
Second that motion.
Is there a motion?
Yes, motion by Councilmember Miller and a second by Councilmember Alfred Dixon.
Any discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Was Mayor Pro Tem trying to say something? I'm sorry, I see you moving, Mayor Pro Tem. Okay.
She just said aye.
I said aye.
Is there any discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you so very much, council.
Next item, council to consider approval of a contract with Safe Built regarding contractual code enforcement services.
Mr. Kuta, is that you?
Good
You the chief
evening.
tag team? Oh, I can start it off.
Okay.
So council, we had a job offer and a great candidate for the chief code enforcement officer. And, chief was doing his due diligence, got great recommendations for her, but we figured after they realized she was leaving, that she probably would not be coming. And so, said applicant withdrew her acceptance of the employment. So now we are without a chief code enforcement, although we will be doing interviews. In the meantime, Mr. Kuta had looked into Safe Built, and they offer contractual code enforcement services, and we would like to secure this contract. Chief, was it for 20 hours a week? I think we discussed. Mr. Kuta, can anybody?
Yes,
Hello?
for 20 hours a week.
20 hours a week, as we are actively seeking and continuing to interview for a chief code enforcement officer.
Yes, correct.
I'll entertain a motion to approve for up to 20 hours of contractual service code enforcement services in the interim.
So made.
Any discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you so very much. Items to discuss city financials, events financials I presented in the presentation. Were there any questions or anything, council, that you'd like to discuss in regard to July 3rd and Juneteenth events? All right, seeing no discussion, we'll go to the next item.
Council to consider changes to the Downtown Development Authority.
Council, there are several things that occurred. Is there anything that you all would like to discuss in regard to the Downtown Development Authority? The next one is the separation of Downtown Development Authority and Main Street. I would like for that to be considered. No decisions have to be made tonight, but I do believe those three items, D, E, and F, are connected, and that we do need to begin discussions and consideration, or perhaps consider inter agreements between the city of Jonesboro and the Downtown Development Authority to prevent us having any questions in the future in regard to relationships and partnerships, particularly as it relates to finances. The city of Jonesboro currently covers the utilities and I believe internet for downtown development-owned authority properties. And we can continue with that practice, but I do feel like it'll be best practice from what I've been advised that we create intergovernmental agreements between us and the downtown authority so that no particular time we can say, no, we didn't say we was gonna pay the utilities, or yes, we are gonna pay the utilities. So of the 3, D, E, and F, I would like to really spend some time on F so that we can enter into intergovernmental agreements regardless of the structure of the downtown development authority as it relates to in-kind services that the city provides to the downtown development authority, as well as like I said, the utilities being paid at Nuvo. Council, any discussion on that? I mean, in regard to whether we would continue to pay the utilities? And if so, then if we could have advise the attorney to create an intergovernmental agreement for us to present between the city of Jonesboro and the downtown authority. Is that a common practice, Council, Attorney Dreyer?
It is, Your Honor. Mayor, yes.
So Council, are we in agreement to continue to pay the utilities at Nuvo? On behalf of the DA? I'm sorry, is anybody saying anything? Madam Clerk?
No, ma'am.
Just a question. That has been the
Yes.
agreement all along, correct?
Say it louder.
That has been the agreement all along, correct?
Well, we have not had, that's the problem, there has not been so there was a period of time from the inception, from the activation of the DDA that there was not a Nuvo. So we're not quite sure how the city began paying for Nuvo's utilities. So the DDA was created several years past when we didn't have a DDA. I'm sorry, when Nuvo wasn't open. And then since Nuvo was open, to my understanding, we've been paying the utilities. And I'm okay with that. It just something as such needs to be in an intergovernmental agreement to avoid any confusion in the future.
Mayor, I would say that they are separate and distinct entities. So at a minimum, there would need to be an agreement on what's provided, because the state of Georgia looks at these two, the DDA and the city, as two separate entities, even though the DDA is authorized by the city and has powers over the DDA.
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
So is the intergovernmental agreement specifically for Nuvo, or in general for how we were going forward, how we will handle all decisions intertwined between the two of us?
Well, we need to, if there is financial interest between the two, then it needs to be an intergovernmental agreement. And so there are several that I would bring before you. One would be the utilities that we're paying for that particular property. We would also need an intergovernmental agreement in regard to, it should really be spelled out what services we provide for the DDA in regard to personnel. For example, and Attorney Dreyer, please correct me, and this is from my DDA training. For example, Maria does all the bookings for Nuvo. So like if somebody comes to rent the City Green, it comes through Nuvo. So that can be considered as a in-kind service. Well, that needs to be spelled out in an intergovernmental agreement. So for example, I can't come in one day and say, Maria, don't do their bookings. You know, because I provide oversight. So that clearly needs to be in writing. Or the DDA can't come in and say, we want to do our own bookings. No, our intergovernmental agreement says that bookings will be handled this particular way. And it will go as far as to say, Maria will handle all the bookings, all the finances will go to such and such. So things like that just need that in intergovernmental agreements. From what we've looked, and Ms. Druitt can look again, we could not find any that had been stated on record. So they would continue like there's a debt service that we know that they have to pay. And so the DA has questioned and asked, well, where does it say we're supposed to pay the debt service? Well, we all know y'all supposed to pay the debt service because it's on our debt service thing. But there is no, we got to find, so if they were to say, no, we're not paying it, because I got to find something that says, no, y'all have to pay it.
Mayor?
They also asked that we reimburse them their attorney fees, I believe. So those are things that we have to consider, whether we're going to reimburse their attorney fees. We also need to make determinations whether we are going to finance their executive director, and allocate a line item for that, or that's going to be an intergovernmental agreement where we say that we will pay for the executive director that will provide oversight, or we'll just give them $75,000, I'm just making up numbers, a year, and they can hire their own. So it's a number of intergovernmental agreements, and again, these are things that I believe should have been in place and best practices for DDA and the city to have.
Mayor?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you. Can you go into the mic, please?
The D, E, and F, all of these, there's a lot of moving parts here, and a lot of it is very confusing. I want to make a motion that until we get more information, especially maybe an IGA we can look at on paper,
Yes.
and some more information on this, that we table any decisions on this until we can get some more information. So
Okay.
I make a
And
motion
just
that
for
we
the record,
table
that
D,
we will
E, and
continue
F.
to pay utilities as previously paid, but just for the record that there is no intergovernmental agreement, but I will still authorize those payments. I was not aware that they were not intergovernmental agreements available. And also just for formality, and Attorney Dreyer, I also want to state for the record that the DDA cannot determine their structure as they are believing that they can. They can determine their bylaws, but the structure of the DDA is dependent upon us. Is that correct, Attorney Dreyer, from what I've been told?
The Georgia law regarding DDAs is if the council creates a development authority, they must do that first, then the development authority is created, but all members and terms are appointed by council, and the geographic area is determined by council. If there's changes to that, it needs to be by a resolution of the council, and then there are a few other oversight functions of council.
Okay, and at this time, another thing in regard to the changes to Downtown Development Authority, there was someone appointed to the Downtown Development Authority that lives outside of the map that the council that the DDA was set up upon. And so that person had initially resigned, but then the executive director said, no, he don't have to resign, although he does live outside the current map. I did ask in writing that they provide me with that map that they would like to extend for approval. That had not been, and I said in the DDA meeting that I would present that to the council for you all to vote on. That map has not been provided. So at this time, I would like to accept the resignation of the individual that lives outside of the map so that we are in compliance with Georgia state law. Attorney Dreyer, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, right now, the Georgia law is clear that there is, you have to be eligible to serve on the Development Authority, requiring a few things, but one of them is to live in the geographic area. And again, that geographic area can only be changed by a resolution of City Council.
Council, any questions on that?
I have a question about the individual. Do they not have a business in the city as well? I think I remember last time Andrew spoke to us about who he wanted us to approve. It was whether they had a business in the downtown area or lived in the area. Does that individual that's resigning not have a business there either?
Yeah, he doesn't have a business, no ma'am. And I think it goes back to what had been said, was that a particular area was to be included, but it was not included when I went back to look at the map.
And that person was brought to us by Andrew? That person was brought forward to us by, it was recommended that we approve that person?
It was approved, and it was brought forward in the assumption that the map had been changed. But when we looked, the map had not been changed in actuality. And that individual, we spoke to him, he completely understood and he resigned. But since then, the executive director has put him back on there. And so I asked Attorney Dreyer, what happens if we hold someone? And so we would be out of compliance to allow this individual to remain on living outside the map. And this map was agreed on when we activated the DDA in 2016 or 17. So it's not a map that keeps changing. It's the one that was used to activate. So when you activate a DDA, you say that the DDA will include this particular area of the city. And so this map was included in that. I do feel like later on, once we get this down, we may want to look at, as a business is developing and our downtown corridors is widening, that it does make sense at some point to look at that map again and be strategically and expand it. A lot of cities do that, not every year, and not just to include certain members, but they do it based on the growth of the downtown area when it begins to expand.
Okay, thank you. And the last question, so we'll just publish the opening again? for
Yes, ma'am, it's
applicants?
already posted, and we've received a number of applicants, and when we determine how we want to move forward, the executive director to bring it before me, or I can look at the applicants and deem that that they meet the qualifications and bring them before you all in November. We kind of have an open, I don't think we put a date on our Facebook post, but I will check with Maria on tomorrow to see all the applicants and review those this week.
Okay, thank you.
So Attorney Dreyer, we are in agreement that that individual that resigned can indeed not serve on the DDA until we get through this questioning period of the map and everything.
It's my opinion that anyone that is not, that doesn't reside in the DDA geographic map or own a business in the DDA geographic map is not eligible to serve.
Correct. Also, the last thing I wanted to, there was one other thing in regard to changes to the DDA, Downtown Development Authority. Attorney Dreyer, we spoke about something else. That particular one. Oh, and then also in regard to discussion of changes to the Downtown Development Authority as requested, the CPA that's doing our forensic audit will continue, for the record, doing the audit of the Downtown Development Authority so that we are in compliance, as stated by our current charter that says that the person, the CPA that does ours does theirs, because the way our DDA is set up, and Mrs. Kennedy can speak to it, we cannot close out our audit without theirs, and so we don't want to be held up. Right now, we are expecting a site visit for our 2023 audit sometime in the first 2 weeks of November. And then the last thing, in regards to the Downtown Development Authority, we have not been, we found out that we have not been we are out of compliance since 2020, I believe. So there's about 5 or 6 years that we are not in compliance with DCA, and that's something that we need to consider. Again, we were not compliant in years where we actually had an audit. So then we need to go in and work with these, I think whatever that department is, to see why we had not been compliant during that period of time, and what we need to do to be compliant. I think the most urgent matter is us to determine how we want to proceed with a executive director for a Downtown Development Authority. We could actually suspend, I don't know, the Downtown Development Authority has held their minimum amount, the amount of meetings that are required for the year. In the absence of, if the possibility of the absence of an executive director, then how would they move forward, Attorney Dreyer? Would we need to internally?
Yeah, the DDA bylaws provide that the city council will appoint an executive director to serve over the DDA. The executive director is a very important position with the DDA because they have to do things like sign real estate deals, real estate deeds, paychecks and items like that. So without an executive director, there is some concerns, and it'll take some research to sort that out, Mayor.
Okay, let's, council, if you all don't mind, we may have to entertain a special call meeting this week or next, if we find that necessary. All right, that's all I have for item D, E, and F. At this time, we do not have a Downtown Development report from Andrew Simpson. Mr. Kuta, do we have an economic development report?
Yes, we do have a report. The report is before you in your packets. September was a busy month filled with trainings and learning lots of things, but I'm happy to take any questions.
Council, do you have any questions for Ms. Faith Akuta, our interim director of community development that still serves our economic development report? Just to update on an SCEI grant that Mrs. Akuta is spearheading. We will submit that. When will that final grant be submitted?
So the deadline
The
is
final.
the deadline
the
is
final
October
business plan.
31st, but the goal is to have it submitted before then.
Again, and she's been working really hard on that. If it's approved, the grant will provide $60,000 for us to work on our procurement process and perhaps acquire some software. So again, thank you so very much. At this time, I entertain reports from our city council members. Councilman Powell, do you have a report for us this evening?
No, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Mayor Pro Tem,
No, Mayor.
Councilman Don Dixon.
Yes. I'd like to address to the three cowards,
The what?
the three cowards that decided it would be a great plan to vandalize my wife and my house.
Oh.
I will be prepared the next time you decide to show up. Trust me. You do not come up on my property for the hell of it and start ripping down my flags. You're warned. By the way, your stupid ass was on camera.
His stupid ass, what? I missed the last part.
On camera.
Okay. All righty. Okay, you've been warned. Councilwoman Miller.
It's a hard act to follow.
Ms. Miller?
Yeah, here I
Councilwoman
am. I just want to always, as always, thank our staff. Thank you to everyone who came. Thank you for those who sat through this meeting. I know it was long. I know it was unorthodox in the fact that we went to executive session first and came back out. You all stayed here. We appreciate you. Early voting started today. Make sure you let your voice be heard. Okay, we have seats available here, but there are other things on the ballot as well. Who makes decisions for your Georgia Power bill and things of that nature. If you have questions about where to find information about candidates, feel free to reach out to any of us and we can point you into the correct, placement where to look for it online or who to speak to, or you can speak to us. But please make sure that you guys go out and vote and go ahead and get out the way early if you can. Also, I do an annual back to school, an annual Christmas drive for families in need. I give toys away. They come in, they shop. It's a whole beautiful thing. Try to keep some integrity, even though you might have a situation where you need help. And so, if you have any toys or know anyone that has any toys, I'll have some boxes out. It won't be until December, but I just want to go ahead and put that on your heart right now. I know we have a lot going on, but before the holiday seasons get going and all the other money gets spent. And that's it. Thank you again to our staff, and thank you for everyone for continuing to have hope and believe in the city of Jonesboro and being here. I know sometimes it's a little tumultuous, but there's love here for our residents and our constituents and our staff, and so we appreciate you.
Councilman Lester?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Can I jump you again? October 21st, myself and Councilman Dixon are giving food away at Moneysmill High School. So if you know anybody that's in need, on October 21st from about 12 to 4 o'clock, please have them come and get some healthy food. That's all we give out. But please have them come and do that. And I won't steal your shine about the roller skating. That's coming up. Okay. That's all. Sorry, Councilman Lester.
You just said what I was going to say. But thanks to our staff and for everybody, all that they do. And that's really all I got to say right now.
Councilman Dixon?
Yes, just would like to say thank you all to the staff, to the residents of the city of Jonesboro for continuing to show up and show love. I appreciate the mayor and council for continuing to pour into the JYCG and giving them a platform to speak at public comment. That's it's not easy to get up here and speak during public comment, so I'm just so thankful that they're getting that practice in early. I have a few thanks to give. Thanks to Clayton State University The work that we're doing here, we really couldn't do without them. The interns that they have provided for us since 2023 have been amazing. So I just want to just give my thanks to them. I'd like to thank Micah Cooley from Jonesboro High School for leading the Jonesboro Political Leadership program that they have over there. He's doing amazing things, and I really look forward to connecting with them in the future. I want to congratulate head football coach George Floyd for getting his 100th win over at Jonesboro High School. I want to also congratulate MJ Walker, that's Jonesboro's own, graduate of Jonesboro who just got signed to the Atlanta Hawks. So I definitely look forward to supporting them this season. And another big shout out to Jonesboro Majestic Marching Cardinals for continuing to set the standard. They performed last night for Monday Night Football with Jesus the Snowman, and it was just amazing. So just thankful for Goodwin and the Jonesboro community for always just showing love and supporting. And again, like Councilwoman Miller stated, we will be doing the food distribution at Mundy's Mill High School alongside State Representative Eric Bell. Please come out if you can. And this Thursday we'll be at Skate Zone. This is one of our hallmark events for the Jonesboro Youth City Government to continue to raise funds for them. This will be our third time doing Skate Zone, and we'll be doing it in partnership with Danny Nagel Law Firm, State Representative Eric Bell, Councilwoman Aja Miller, School Board Member Jasmine Bowles, and Commissioner Elena Reeves, along with Dixon Brothers, Cameron Dixon. So just thank you all. If y'all can come, that'll be great. The JYCG meeting is October 20th, next Monday at 6 p.m. right here in the council chambers. Please come, and thank you all.
All right, thank you. Just a few kudos for me to add. I'll start with Andrew Simpson, graduate of the class of 2025 Clayton County Chamber of Commerce Clayton Leadership Program. With that being said, we have two members that were selected for next year's class of 2026, which is Ms. Lateria Francis from Court Services and our Public Works Director, Marcus Hurd. I'd also like to give a shout out to Chief Cato, who was the recipient of one of the Valor Leadership Awards from the Clayton County Chamber of Commerce at their Valor Luncheon. So several of us, as well as some of our council members, got a chance to celebrate him. Congratulations again for the great work that we know you do great things, but to be acknowledged by Clayton County Chamber of Commerce, we want to congratulate you. We also want to give a shout out to Executive Assistant Taylor Johnson, who brought in her first grant. It's the fiscal year 2026 GCA Vibrant Communities Grant in the amount of $2,500, and we'll do an official press release at the end of the month. We also want to give some shout out to the other executive assistant, Shelby Bentley. I think we may have mentioned that you saw the press release where she wrote a $10,000 grant and will be given free trees and mulch, as well as we'll be able to rent a machine to dig the holes for our residents. So we're excited about that for our residents and businesses. And last but surely not least, I want to acknowledge that Shelby Bentley has also completed through the Carl Vincent Institute. Ms. Bentley, I hope I have it correctly, Finance 1 or Government Accounting 1. Which one is it? What's the whole certificate program?
Ms. Kennedy, level 1.
Well, it was a year-long program with some in-person and virtual, and she passed the test. So round of applause for our newest graduate among our staff. Super proud of you all. Thank you all so very much. I hope you can join us in the heart of downtown Jonesboro this weekend for the Smokey and the Bandit and the Corvette Club and all those festivities on Friday. Please, as Councilwoman Miller mentioned, early voting has started. We will not hold any voting at our city hall, but you can go to your respective early voting sites during early voting, and you can go vote at your polling location on election day. Hopefully council, as well as any community members here that live in the city of Jonesboro, you received the beautiful mailer that outlined all of that information that I think started arriving in our households last week. Also, residents, I hate to end on a bad note, but not necessarily a bad note, but your tax bills, remember, this year's tax bills will not be separate. They'll be included with your county tax bill, and we'll collect revenue that way. Thank you all so very much for staying with us We do not need to go into executive session. Is that correct, council? Is that correct, everybody? Anybody say we need to?
I don't have anything for executive session unless,
Anybody want to go to executive session?
no.
We have a no.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion at this point to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Just, got a
Appropriately
question.
second?
Yes.
All in favor?
I got a quick question discussion.
Any opposed?
Hey,
Council, have a great evening. Thank you so much, staff.